This video is the third video in a series of videos about the Postgres DLL, and what I'm going to show in this one is a kind of slightly more advanced use of the DLL to automatically create random missions. So just to remind you from the other two videos, I've got a trigger that creates a marker on the map from the database, a trigger to get the total number of records, so you can see my select count from Arma test in there, that's my SQL, and then I go to a DLL called Arma socket logger, call the extension with that JSON, and that JSON is my select statement, and that's how it all kind of hangs together. I've got this other routine actually, by the way, this function here, that kind of, it gets rid of handles additional characters, quotes and single quotes and stuff, doubling them up to get them covered. Those sort of escape characters. It handles that side of things. Probably needs a lot more testing, that bit actually, but anyway, seems to work fine. And I've got a trigger here called show missions. So this calls this function show mission briefing. So just before I get into it, I'm going to show you the backend database first. So here you can see I've got this table called mission objectives. So if I just run a select start, you'll see I've got these two kind of sets of attributes. There's two rows in here for mission objectives. Now this is what the structure I have at the moment. So I got sort of a target XY, target name, mission type. You can have a timer on there. I don't actually use the timer in this, but just to give you an idea. I've got mission status. Now that's important. That's inactive at the moment, those two. One is track down Goldfinger, so that's this soldier who's spawned. So I identify what gets spawned. And this one is also inactive, and you find the ammo truck, and it's that ammo truck. I do have this column that says is vehicle no or yes. Actually, if to productionize this, I would change the schema here. I would say what is the type of sort of target, mission target. So you'd have plane, vehicle, person, location. You'd go from that side. But as a demo, this is perfectly decent. It's just that with vehicles, for example, as versus a unit that's a person, there's slightly different scripts that you need doing. I've also got sort of when the mission's activated and when it's completed. I've actually previously done this, so I'll just blank these. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I've got in as a sort of a demo to get started. But the point is, I've got these two missions. Let's go back here and run the Altis scenario. So you can see there's some action going on here. If I do 0, 0 and get total number of records, there you go, I've got 9,349, so it's been recording like crazy. Now if I do 003, which is show missions, that's the trigger I'm using at the moment, you can see that brings up my dialog which says ammo truck inactive and Goldfinger is the name of the sort of mission. Goldfinger, that's inactive, gives a bit of data there about what it does. So let's go in here where this says quite helpfully, get your missions here. So I go in here, you have to hang around in here. In the bottom left you can see all unit positions sent. That's the database being updated with the location with all players. So this has randomly selected a mission and chose one out, and that's the truck. Yeah. So I've got to destroy this truck. Let's have a look at show missions again. So you can see the ammo truck is now an active mission. And if I go back to the PG admin, you can see active on the ammo truck. So what I can do is destroy the ammo truck. Task completed. Let's go back to my show missions. It says ammo truck completed. Goldfinger still inactive. Let's go back in here and I can pick up another mission. And I can, you have to be in here for, I think it's 5 seconds I've set it at. And it will select another mission, and it's selected Goldfinger because it knows the other mission is done, you see. Because if I go back to PG admin, you can see it says completed in the truck. But now Goldfinger is active. So let's carry on. Let's get rid of Goldfinger. Goldfinger's destroyed. Okay, so I've completed these 2 missions, 003, and that's completed as well. So it can keep a nice sort of little track. If I go back in here, I'm not sure how much I've tested this bit actually, it should just say there's no missions. It says in the bottom left, yeah, there you go, no objectives found in DB, you can see in the system chat, bottom left there. Let's just go back to the database, yeah, and we will, let me just update and set everything to inactive. So if we go back here, you can see they're now back to inactive. What I've got in this, if I restart, I mean, you could have millions of missions, you know, I mean, let's face it. So I do a 003 again, so I've got both those missions available. Let's go straight into here, where it says get your missions here. And it'll randomly choose the truck, or, I mean, it'll randomly choose out of millions, and it's potentially. So I go there, so this task is now active to destroy that truck. So if I went back in here, without doing it, what it will do is automatically sort of say, oh, you've already, this task's already been assigned, I'm going to cancel this one, there it goes, and assign this one. If I go to 003, see it says cancelled, so I'm keeping that sort of track of what's going on in the missions. This that's tough. 003 should be completed and then cancelled. Great. So, and then when I go back into the database, you can see completed, that's correct, that's Goldfinger, and my truck was cancelled. So this is purely a demonstration of the possible, but as you can see, it's pretty good. There was a lot of stuff going on there actually, all the recording. If I go, you know, back into Arma test, which is so that one actually, this one. That's where I was recording all the position information. So this so far, I mean, it must have a fair few, is it? Yeah. So this has 10,000 rows in there. It was just recording all the time. So that all worked well. So, you know, it was working in the background as I was doing that. But as you can see, you could create quite a impressive sort of mission board. Maybe you select one and you can activate it as well, that sort of thing. Again, it's just to give you a head start. So how exactly is this working? We're going to have a little look at the code, the scripting in the background. So in terms of the objective, this is the script that will come with the mission that's published. And what happens is, first of all, I just see is there a current task going on? Is there a task assigned? If there is, I just automatically cancel it, you see, and sort of note it. But the SQL sent here is update mission, set status to cancelled, you see, and the main thing that's happening here is this result equals Arma socket logger call extension JSON, the active setting. So that's my because that's sort of containing the current target sort of task ID details. So you are just writing SQL as you wish, and if we go on, and then what's happening there, if there is one, is cancelled. Then this is random, this is the random bit. So I say select my fields, my various columns from mission objectives where mission status is inactive. So I'm only picking out those ones and randomly sort of order them and pick out the only one. There's some other ways of doing that. I'll leave it up to you really, because mission ID could be used as a, you could random mission ID or something, but it works perfectly fine. So there's no arguments needed for that. I just want to return, I know it's just going to return one row. I bring it back, then I re-execute a SQL, which is this, and so I'm calling Arma socket logger again with this JSON, which is this SQL, and no arguments. I then just pass it. I use parse simple array to tidy it up, get out the information as an array, and I just check to see, well, actually, have I got anything in there? If it's 0, no objectives found. If that's all good, then what I then do is just go through the select 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 7. Effectively, that's saying 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, that's how that works. In case for those who don't know, and then I pick up a position, create that. I sort of default spawned object. I just nullify that initially. I then do this check on his vehicle because you like I said, there are some slightly different things, aren't there? I mean, with set vehicle name, for example, and set name, and I set these to the name of the actual kind of mission. So that would be call it ammo truck, and this will call it Goldfinger set name. That's why I split that up. But like I said, if I would recommend changing that really to say to if spawn type equals vehicle, that kind of thing, and then you can cover off a lot more ground. I think that would be better. I just do a little, I don't know what's happened there. I just do a little check to see if the spawned object is null, because I'm doing this create unit. Is it worked out okay or not? It's just something I did for debugging, really. I'm not saying this is the world's most perfect script, by the way. This is just demo to show you how you can hang things together, and it's all tied together. I do fair few system chats just to print out information at the bottom left, just clarification. Okay, then I do a create task and put that all together again using target name. I then do an assigned to and it's to that player. Important to note, this is all single player. I'm going to do a multiplayer version of this. That again, there's differences between single and multiplayer. You got to handle things slightly differently. But so this is single player. I should have said that right at the start. But it's single player. And then after I do assigned, I then mark the mission objectives record. The target name is whatever, so that'll be Goldfinger or Arma truck, and I'll mark it to active. Again, thinking about it, I would be better off working with the database with a unique ID, with mission ID, but it works. Then I, after I've put that SQL together, I send it again through Arma socket logger. And then after I've done all that, I actually add an event handler to killed, which is killed, sorry. And so what I'm doing here is saying, look, to this spawned object, the truck or the unit, the person, if they're killed, destroyed, or what have you, then, and you could sort of do some other checks here, but I just say, okay, if you're killed, then go up and update the mission to status completed, and record now for completed at. If you go back to the start here, I do a, where's my well, that's an activated at in there. I thought I had another one actually. When I actually create, yeah, here we go. So when you actually assign it, as well as setting mission status active, I also set activated at to now, and that's to make sure I get timings, which you can then use for whatever analysis at a later date. Yeah, so I do all that, and and for set completed, and then I set the task as succeeded, set the task as state. So that's a quick run through really, but and again it's demonstration purposes, this script. Finally, very briefly, just so you can see, this is where I set the dialog. I've got, show mission briefing.sqf, and I just have a sort of pretty relatively straightforward dialog that I actually store in description rather than an external HPP file, which would be better. I recommend using, have a subfolder called dialogs and putting your HPP dialog file in there, and then putting your class in that. You'd be it's tidier, it's better sort of discipline really. So again, nothing really surprising. It's just all in the positioning of the controls and the colors used, that sort of thing, but nothing particularly different in dialogs how I've handled it. The key thing here is about the database. Anyway, that's it. Hope you like it, and it'll be published soon. Thank you.